Hello, welcome back for another video on Ark Survival Ascended. Are you looking for some awesome creature mods to add to your Aberration playthrough? Well, you've come to the right place. In this video, I'll be showcasing the 5 best creature mods you can add to your Aberration playthrough that will naturally spawn in your world. Every single one of these mods can be played cross-platform. Let's get straight into it. What better way to kick off the video than with the Antrodemus from Tristan's Modding? If you are looking to add another Apex Predator to the Aberration roster, the Aberrant Antrodemus is a great candidate. You will find these beasts roaming the bioluminescent region, sometimes the edge of the green zone. It does state in the mod description that they also spawn in the red zone. However, I have never seen one spawn there. The blue zone is most definitely the best spot to find them. The first thing you will need to do to obtain one of these bad boys is to hunt down some of their wild friends. They will drop the Allosaurus brain in their death cache, which you can later convert to a variant of the Allosaurus brain inside your inventory at level 75. Once converted, it does only have an 8-minute spoil timer, so it's best to convert it once you're ready to use it. They are not tamed via typical knockout methods. Approach one unnoticed, dropping the Allosaurus brain on the ground. It will begin sniffing the brain. Admittedly, I did have to use about 6 brains for this to work. It would just sniff it and pretty much gobble it up and go about its day, so this might be slightly currently bugged, but after dropping 6 on the ground, it did finally perform the correct animation, where it enters a rage mode, where it takes 80% reduced damage and deals 3 times more damage, where you will have to beat it down to around 10% of its health, which it will then go unconscious. Standing up, by the way, which is interesting, where you can now feed it just like any other carnivore, preferring either raw mutton, raw prime meat, or its preferred kibble, which is regular kibble. I used exceptional in the video, but that's fine too, as it is a higher tier of kibble. Once tamed, it'd saddle up at level 65, which also does have additional pieces of armor that can be equipped to its body, legs, arms, and head. I really do love the armor sets that Tristan adds to his creatures. Take a look at how badass this helmet looks. Fully kitting it out with these armor pieces will give it a combined total of 65 armor rating, as opposed to the 25 armor that the basic saddle offers. It also does have 2 saddle attachments that you can equip to its offhand slot, a mortar and pestle, which as expected does act like a portable mortar and pestle, and also a storage attachment, which gives anything inside its inventory 30% weight reduction. It is slightly smaller than a Rex, with stats similar to the Allosaurus, however probably doesn't compare to the power of the Aberrant Megalosaurus. And although it does drop the Allosaurus brain in its inventory when killed, it does not share their pack mentality, and does make for a great counter to pack creatures, as it has a debuff raw, which will scare mate boosted and pack boosted creatures. Any affected creatures will take 15% more damage. It has a basic bite attack and also a headbutt attack, which will inflict the fractured debuff, which is the same debuff of the Dinosuchus after taking a gigabyte, paired with being able to heal itself from carcasses with its rapid regeneration buff, which on top of that also has a sit animation that will slowly heal itself over time, makes the Antrodemus great for lengthy battles. Oh, look how cute it looks. Kinda. And finally, even though it is larger than the Megalosaurus, the rider is also able to wield their weapons when mounted. There are many reasons why the Antrodemus will spice up your Aberration playthrough. Blazing's Noxalvosaurus from the real Shadloss is a new creature on the block. The mod will add the aberrant variant of the Noxalvosaurus to your world, a medium-sized mid-tier nocturnal predator. You will find these spawning pretty much everywhere in the fertile region, a simple knockout tame which can be bowlered, which is very nice, preferring meats like raw mutton and raw prime meat as food, with regular kibble being its preferred kibble. Saddled up at level 33, making them an extremely accessible mount for the early game. Slightly larger than a raptor, but I would say a lot stronger as a lone battle mount. A very fast sprinter, able to jump great distances, and can also enter a crouch walk-in mode, which will drastically reduce detection radius of yourself to nearby creatures. Overall, a decent mid-tier brawler with some unique fighting qualities. It is a nocturnal predator similar to the Megalosaurus. During nighttime, it gains the Night Stalker buff, increasing its damage output by 50%, reducing damage taken by 10%, and increasing movement speed by 25%. On top of that, also granting a slight boost to health regeneration and torpor drain. Adding to this, whenever it kills anything during the night, it will gain the Night Feeder buff. This is a 10-second buff that drains 5 torpor per second and also adds 25 stamina per second. It does also have some utility going its way. It is a great harvester of pelt, hide, and organic polymer, and will also greatly reduce the weight of them inside its inventory. The weight reduction for pelt and poly is massive. I'm going to guess around 80% weight reduction for those, which is rather nice. I love this dino, but I must say I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't share the nocturnal quality of the aberrant Megalosaurus, where it is always strong on Aberration. I'd like to see it receive the Night Stalker buff 24/7 with the aberrant variant, only on Aberration of course, but that is the only criticism I have for it. The Noxcalvosaurus will no doubt be a great addition to your Aberration world. Moving on to my personal favourite on the list, it is the Jumping Spider, aka the 4-axe spider from Cyrus Creates. This mod will add the aberrant version of the 4-axe spider to your game, sharing spawns with the Yeeling in the green zone, spawning all throughout the blue zone, and also some places in the red zone, including the Elemental Vault Artifact Cave. Don't know why you want to tame one there, but they still spawn there. The female aberrant version is tamed slightly different to its vanilla counterpart. Same requirements, unlocking and crafting smashed insects in a mortar and pestle. However, to tame the female aberrant variant, you will need a light pet with your charge light turned on, and smashed insects in your last hotbar slot to feed it. The male is tamed the exact same way, where you need to be riding a female to release its pheromones, which will of course allow you to passively feed the male in the same way. The saddle can be unlocked at level 56, however I do believe this is bugged at the moment, as you cannot equip it to the aberrant version. I did read up that there is a fix coming for this very soon. Luckily they can be ridden without a saddle. It does also have some slightly different abilities to its vanilla version, with a ranged web attack that can be used to slow targets when having silk inside its inventory, which can be easily produced with the option via its radial menu. Other than that, the Jumping Spider lives up to its name in its new aberrant glory, able to jump great distances with its charge jump and latching onto any surface as it pleases, with climbing mode enabled. 2 bites, a regular bite attack dealing more damage, and also the poison bite dealing less damage but more torpor, which can be useful in knocking out creatures of course. The only downside is I did notice quite a lot of them spawning in the wild, especially in the bioluminescent region, so maybe a slight overspawn issue there. I have most definitely seen worse though. Either way, it cannot be denied that the aberrant 4-axe spider is a creature that feels so at home on Aberration. Next up is Shoko's aberrant direwolf from Shoko Marquee. Apologies for no doubt butchering the name. This mod adds the aberrant direwolf variant to Aberration, which will spawn naturally in the fertile region. The direwolf is no doubt a fan favourite in Ark, and this beast is a larger, stronger version of its vanilla counterpart, and will fill your playthrough with a lot of joy. Tamed the same way as its vanilla counterpart, able to be bowlered and knocked out, preferring raw mutton or raw prime meat, with superior kibble being its preferred kibble. Able to jump while being a more than capable battle mount, with a pretty hefty bite attack, with very strong pack buffs at its disposal, going up to +4 in a group of 5 or more direwolves, where the pack receives additional damage and damage resistance per pack member. On top of that, the alpha of the pack can use the Howl ability, which will buff the damage and damage resistance of each pack member, which of course does have a cooldown, albeit not as flexible of a travel mount as a Ravager, and without the additional armor protection. However, it does have around 5 times the carry weight of a vanilla direwolf, which most certainly adds a lot more value to it. I always did struggle with the direwolf's weight. It was never enough to carry the weight on my back, let alone meat, hide and anything else inside its inventory. So that is a real nice touch to the aberrant version. You can also add the Shoko's direwolf armor mod, which gives our direwolves that much needed armor protection. With its keen sense of smell and sniff ability, will aid you in finding all those much needed explorer notes, and also any hidden enemies like the basilisk for example, while having its passive wound sniffer, able to detect the approximate health of targets when below half of their maximum health. Plus, how cool does the aberrant variant of the direwolf look? What a beauty. And the final creature is the Civatherium from Wild Waghorn, which will add the aberrant variant of this beautiful creature to your world, spawning commonly in the fertile region, aka the green zone, tamed passively, and is quite an expensive tame considering how rare giant bee honey is on Aberration, with its preferred food being sweet veggie cakes, seconded by either veggies or berries. But you'll need a lot of those unless you play on boosted rates. Once you have your taming food in your final hotbar slot, and once fed, it will bellow, calling out to its herd mates, which if any of these creatures are nearby will begin to attack you. In this case, this one was being followed around by a dire bear, which of course was no problem for an absolute beast like me. Once tamed and saddled up at level 71, you will have yourself a very unique traveling mount, with a great sprinting speed and the ability to jump, a capable berry harvester and mushrooms alike, with weight reduction for these inside its inventory. As a battle mount, it can still pack a punch too, with a headbutt attack that has good DP DPS, and a rear kick attack that can temporarily stun attackers. Adding to this, it can also go into a defensive stance, which when in this state will give it a whopping 80% damage reduction. The rider can also wield their weapons when mounted, but the intelligence of the Civ Ethereum is most definitely the reason why people sought to tame them. It has the same passive as light pets, where it will notify the rider of nearby max level wild creatures, indicated at the bottom right of your screen. It is capable of using its infrared vision for scouting, where the saddle boasts a portable telescope. It can scan any creature to see its base stats, an extremely useful tool for breeders. And I know I have the awesome spyglass equipped right now, but I must admit I hate the thing. It makes the game too easy in my opinion. I'm only using it for the purpose of the video to understand these creatures better, which is why the Civ Ethereum is so great for me. It gives us some valuable stat information about the creature, but not every single thing we need to know like the awesome spyglass does. And if you are wondering, all 5 of these creatures on the list I do believe are radiation immune. So with that being said, happy exploring out there in Aberration. I will leave you with a few honorable mentions. And by the way, the Arcology mod is by far one of my favorite mods out there today, adding a wide variety of Arcology creature variants to your game, including a bunch of beefy alpha creatures, adding that extra layer of difficulty to the already challenging Aberration map. And that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if it was helpful in any way, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe for more Arc content. There's plenty more, and as always there's plenty more to come, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care, goodbye.